You want to talk about some Dark Side of the Ring, Hairline?
Yeah.
Hairline and I had the pleasure of watching Dark Side of the Ring again. I believe the Graham
Yeah.
family episode is out now at the time of recording this, but we watched the Magnum TA episode and we wanted to talk about it a little bit with you guys. Hairline, Dark Side of the Ring, a brilliant show, one of the best fucking shows out
Boom.
there. I
A
love it.
great show.
Another great episode, but this one wasn't so. It is sad that this guy had everything taken from him, but it's like at least he wasn't like this
It's
huge
sad for
raging
Dustin.
piece of shit, and at least he like didn't murder anyone
Yeah.
or die. At least he's like a
I
guy who's successful, still alive, and can tell the tale of this guy who
I feel
one day would have been wrestling Flair, Hogan, Austin, all these guys on the big stage. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, so let's just jump right into this, man.
Okay.
Magnum TA.
Yeah.
So the WWF was huge in the 80s with Hogan and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? That was like the dynasty era of Vince and Hogan going hard. You know what I'm saying? Hogan was fucking going hard for Vince and then jumping back and forth between Japan and all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Ichiban Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, right. But yeah, outside of that though, you know what I'm saying? There was an area Vince couldn't grab, and that was the Crockett territory, the Crockett South area and whatnot. And that was the last line of defense. And this was this had the blood, the grit, and the just like the fucking overall like it was wrestling is more or less what I'm saying. You know, it wasn't fucking your packaged WWE entertainment. You know, even though I'm a mark for that shit.
Yeah.
But we're
right.
talking about Dark Side right now.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man.
And Jim Crockett Promotion was the precursor to WCW World Championship Wrestling. So basically, like if we say Jim Crockett Promotion, just picture like WCW before it was WCW. You know, is essentially what this was. It was like one of the last like territories still going strong that was producing stars and people like Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, and Dusty Rhodes. That Magnum TA was his boy. That was his guy, which we'll come to find out as the story is told.
And that's what I wanted to get into right here was Crockett was a gathering of the last stand against Vince. Is really what it was. And leading that charge was, like you said, was Dusty Rhodes, the son of a plumber. And the leader of this was Dusty Rhodes, you know what I'm saying? But that this territory needed a star, you know what I'm saying? And that star would be Magnum TA. So
right. And Magnum TA, he had the goddamn look, he had the body, he had the mustache, he had the hair. Ladies loved him. He could work. He was green at first, but he was starting to catch on. And he couldn't really find himself at first. He couldn't really find like who he really was or like what's the gimmick and what were they calling him? They were just calling him by his name as well, weren't they? Like he wasn't Magnum TA yet. That came like in Crockett, but it came after some time. They're like, yo, get a motorcycle.
Yeah. We'll get to all that. So basically what I have here is between 6 to 7 years old, he started watching wrestling with his father. And then he started doing the Kurt Angle style wrestling in the 9th grade. And then by his senior year, he won the state tourney. So like, boom, you know what I'm saying? That's how driven and dedicated he was to this. But basically, what you were getting at here about him working early on, how he got into this was he was working at a bar in Virginia Beach shortly after school. Well, he was in college, working at this Virginia Beach bar doing security, and this is where all the wrestlers would hang out and whatnot. And here is where he met Buzz Sawyer. And do you want to do Buzz Sawyer in a nutshell quickly here? Or?
Yeah, so Buzz Sawyer was he's a wrestler and way back in the day, and he was known for sort of like working the boys a little bit. And he was just like
a piece of shit.
He was a ruthless son of a bitch, and you know, people like Jim Cornette was featured heavily in this episode. Yeah. And and he was, you know, he even someone of the ilk of Jim Cornette is calling Buzz Sawyer a fucking asshole, pretty much. You know what I mean? Someone as passionate as Jim can even acknowledge he's an asshole. And what this guy did is he'd come in with the boys, and basically what happened is he kind of marked Tully in and was like, hey man, you got a good look. give me fucking $10,000 and I'll go and I'll train you. And so Magnum, did I say Tully? I might have said Tully again. I think off pod I was calling this the Tully Blanchard episode of fucking sorry. He was married to Tully Blanchard's
this is what
sister.
happens when you smoke dope.
Yeah, exactly, man. So but anyways, Terry Allen was his name, right? And so TA, he goes, I'll train you, whatever. So TA goes to his family. They ask his grandmother some shit for the money. They give him the money. They get him the 10 grand. His grandfather gets him the money.
His mom, his mom goes to the grandfather and convinces him to lend them this money, and the guy just dips town with the fucking money.
And so Buzz takes the money and ditches town.
Heartbreaking.
So basically, as Hairline said before, the boys would come in.
Jimmy Garvin.
Yeah, so the boys would come into this club very often, and so a week later, Jimmy Garvin comes into the club, and he's sitting in the back, and he starts talking to TA because all the boys sort of took a liking to him, right? It was just Buzz who marked him in. So yeah, Garvin goes, well, shit, I know where he lives. Fucking here's his address. Go see him. Go see him about it, and make sure he trains you or you get your money back. So TA. He ain't no punk, as Hairline mentioned. He's a real shoot amateur wrestler, like he'll really tie you up in a pretzel. He hops in the car and he takes off and he shows up and he knocks on Buzz Sawyer's door and Buzz Sawyer's shocked to see him and he's like, holy shit, what are you doing here, kid? And he goes, I'm here to fucking train wrestling. And so Buzz said, hold on, and he took him down to the fucking where they all to the ring and they got to work. And
2 hours.
For 2 hours.
That's it. Yeah.
2 hours. And from there, the word would get around, and TA even acknowledged it himself. He's like, yeah, the word around is like, oh, he's trained by Buzz Sawyer. He's trained by Buzz Sawyer, and everyone knows Buzz Sawyer doesn't really take a liking to people. So they're like, what? He's trained by Buzz? But TA the whole time's like, yeah, I was trained by Buzz, but he knew, and he admits it. He's like, it was 2 hours. That was just some bullshit. It just helped me get my foot in the door. So
yeah, man, and he actually, the two of them landed on TV the next night. You know what I'm saying? So like that's how good they did. And basically, man, his ambition and his drive daddy led him down south to Florida. And we all know what happened once he got down to Florida. He met the American dream, daddy. It really dope. You could sample in the cowbell right here after I say Dusty Rhodes, daddy. Do
He's just a working man. He's a American dream.
But yeah, so it was actually Andre that came up with the whole Magnum TA.
Right. At the time, the show was Tom that was on TV was Tom Selleck, and he was Magnum PI.
Right.
And so they went, hey, you got a mustache?
We're old.
No, people know what the fuck Magnum PI was, dude. And so they go, hey, man, you kind of look like that. Andre goes, you kind of look like that Tom Selleck guy. Like, why don't you call yourself TA, Magnum TA? And bam, he went and got himself a motorcycle.
Make sure you say boss.
Yeah, boss. Blue jeans. He got a motorcycle. He started hanging out with Hell's Angels and stuff like
Dusty.
that. And that was Dusty.
Yeah, Dusty was get you a motorcycle, daddy.
Yeah, man. And then it's literally at that moment. Yeah, and it's at that moment the look, the work, the gimmick, the name, it all just clicked right there, and the dude just blew up. Like it's
I got it right here. This is how he explained it, bro. He said he's Clint Eastwood, Charles Bronson, Bruce Lee, and John Wayne rolled into a leather jacket.
Fuck yeah, boom. I love it. Boom. And
yeah, boom.
Yeah, I love it. And so basically, like, they started blowing the territory up, and they were doing
Crockett got on TBS, bro, is what happened.
And it's because of like TA, Dusty, Jimmy Garvin was huge back then too, and they're selling out.
So this is also,
and I want to note this, bro.
Where he also gets married, though, bro.
Right, and this ties into what I just wanted to say as well. So also, you got to bear in mind, at this time, there's no social media, there's no OnlyFans. You can't just get a DM in your fucking DM, and you got a boyfriend now. Dude, the women that would turn up, and when they show this old footage, and you hear the women, bro, and you see them in the crowd when TA comes out, and you hear them, that's some Beatles mania type, like squealing, bro. Like it's like another level, like yeah, Flair had the ladies in that, but the dudes were cheering for him too. Magnum had the ladies in a way where, like, dude, they were just watch the episode, man. You hear the crowds, you hear the footage, and you see the women
Yeah,
in
man.
the crowd, and they're fainting. And so he gets married,
He's
and obviously on the road,
yeah. He's
this causes some trouble, right, with the fucking ladies.
oh yeah. Yeah, man. They said it was like Animal House, endless sex. And that him himself was a sex icon. You know what I'm saying? It's basically
Yeah.
what you said, man. Beatles mania. Uh, like he was like the lead singer of Van Halen. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of shit, bro. But yeah, it was like basically like his wife. They had his ex-wife on there, and she said like she was going through his shit, and she found photos.
She found a
Of
letter
her.
with photos, a letter from one of the
Yeah,
girls
and
with
she was
photos of Magnum with the girl, and yeah, and she realized, oh, that's not
yeah,
my
and she was
handbag.
right, and it's all like, wow, just Jesus Christ. That
It's crazy.
no, it like you couldn't tell it wasn't you by the girl in the photo. It was the handbag.
Yeah, it was the handbag that
Uh,
gave. Like, what kind
yeah,
of shit
not,
was she on where she didn't recognize her own self other than from a
yeah,
handbag?
no shit,
Christ.
bro. Oh my god. So yeah, man, as he's taking off as the sex icon that friggin' fucking Koloff, Kozlov, whatever fucking. You want to break him down quickly to the listeners?
So Koloff was a big dude from like fucking Minnesota or Wisconsin or some shit, wasn't he? He wasn't even
Yeah,
from
Minnesota, bud.
Minnesota. So
Minnesota.
that's where,
Listen, Fred Favre, you fucking
yeah.
backstabbing son of a bitch. Continue.
um yeah, I mean that's where Brock Lesnar from, all these freak fucking amateur wrestlers. And Koloff is like a dude from Minnesota, but they had him playing a Russian heel and and him and the what were they called, the Crushers or whatever. They were fucking super over heel tag team, and but also as a singles. And Koloff and Magnum were put into this feud, like America versus Russia,
Correct.
classic foreigner
Yeah, like
heel
Rocky.
versus all American boy type.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, it's like Rocky. Yeah, it's like Rocky 4.
Oh.
Ivan Drago. Yeah, Ivan Drago. You know what, Renee?
Drago, get in there.
Renee.
Yeah, right.
I don't
Sir,
want to.
Renee doesn't work here anymore.
Renee, I don't want to try and sound cool, but Rocky 4.
Oh, you're Mox.
Yeah.
You're doing Mox.
I don't, Renee. I don't want to
Yeah,
try and sound cool.
I figured it out with your hand gestures.
Yeah,
Obviously, the
Rocky 4 fights Ivan Drago in Russia. I don't want to be cool, but I'm gonna move to Russia for a month. Chop down wood. Yeah, so they basically recreated the whole Rocky, Ivan Drago, Rocky. And yeah, they had like a best of 3 series.
Fucking goof. Best of 7. Yeah,
best of 7
series. Kind of like like what the Lucha and the fucking elite dipshits were doing.
But yeah, Magnum TA actually lost the best of 7 series to Ivan Koloff because Dusty Road Daddy, they can't be good timed without hard time, Daddy. And so it's just like they're doing now. Everyone crying about Cody and WWE. Bam, Magnum didn't win either, and he's still over as fuck.
1987 Daddy.
Yes.
TA was next up against Flair Dad.
Now the rumors are that all the NWA guys voted, and Magnum was going to win the belt. He was going to win it from Flair.
Yeah, so he wanted to be out of wrestling by 30 years old. Is what he was saying. He wanted to like just go as hard as he could, and then once he hit 30 years old, he wanted to drive NASCAR. And speaking of NASCAR,
and
like
driving
Dusty
fast,
said, they would ride They would ride the Lightning, and they would ride fast.
Yeah, dude.
God, you want to break down the car crash? Or?
I mean, what is there to say? Really, he was speeding really quick.
I can nutshell it, Doug.
He just bought a new Porsche, and it was raining out, like pouring fucking rain. And he just said it himself, like, I was just cruising fast, and basically like hydroplaned, hit a fucking slipstream, hydroplaned, and fucking hit a tree or a telephone pole, wrapped around it in such a way that he was fucked, you know. And to this day, I don't believe he
broke
can.
the pole in half.
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
fractured his vertebrae, and he fractured his vertebrae, and he had to have emergency surgery. Bro.
Emergency surgery. Yeah. And yeah. Luckily he's still alive, man.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of so going over my notes here. Jericho started explaining keeping kayfabe, and it's all like, God damn it,
How
wrestling.
do you like Jericho doing the voiceover of this?
Oh man, God, I hate the fucking like. I'm breaking here. I'm so fucking over with Jericho right now. He's like, why I'm watching AEW.
God
Isn't
damn it.
that weird? Yeah. How mad are you right now?
I'm not mad. I just don't know how that happened.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
What happened on TV that was any good to where Jericho all of a sudden is?
That I'm marking out over him, John.
Yeah, dude. Was it his can at his fucking Foz Fest?
It was the can. It was the can, and he was back to Magnum, though, man.
PWT listeners, if you want to hear us, fucking get on the Jericho cruise, we're gonna start a fucking GoFundMe or hit our support link and pledge money, and we promise you we will use it to get on the Jericho cruise and for us to make content, even if that means me running into Dave Meltzer and like talking to. We'll talk about that later, but we got blocked by Meltzer too, but that's for another time. But anyways,
well, it's just like I had to write that in my notes. It's goofy that here's Jericho on television explaining to everyone keeping kayfabe, and it's like, Jericho, you're the wrong motherfucker to be explaining this to anyone. Yeah, so basically what happened here next is Magnum was laid up in the hospital. It was huge news. There was endless phone calls. They actually had to turn off the phone machine or whatever the fuck it was. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a fucking degenerate. Deal with it. Anyways, so the cops had to end up sneaking in the heels. You know what I'm saying? And this is why Jericho was talking about keeping kayfabe. You know what I'm saying? So in keeping kayfabe, the heels couldn't be seen.
Yeah. For all you fucking neckbeards listening, you know, we didn't cheer for the heels back in the days, not to sound like an old head, but you know, we did. People didn't cheer for the fucking heels, bro. They weren't allowed to go visit in the hospital unless some of the police station was in on the shit, and they helped sneak them into the fucking hospital, trying to keep kayfabe alive. And what happened was all of the boys, collectively, over the next little while, put away like, you know, 25% or 10% of each of their fucking checks secretly, and they were funneling it to TA, giving him money because they respected him and they knew what he meant to the fucking business. Well, right,
because he was part of the house.
For the business of professional wrestling.
That's more shit they don't understand, man. You know, it's just how they go, Phil.
Not our fans, not the PWT listeners, but the fuckers who are, you know who we're talking about, guys. You guys get it. But but yes.
The guys that call CM Punk Phil.
Exactly. Hey, Phil. The guys who call CM Punk Phil. Yeah. Fucking, you know.
I'm like, no, that's not my co-host. That's CM Punk.
Yeah. It's weird too because I see people talking shit. I'm like, are they talking about me?
Dude. I think people are attacking you in the comment section. I'll start like, and then I'm all like, oh no, it's just a mark.
Yeah. They're talking about CM Punk.
Yeah. They're talking about CM Punk. They're being fucking.
Yeah. Marked. Okay. Now I'm about to defend even harder. Oh, they're talking about Punk? Now I'm about to fuck these guys up.
It's clobbering time.
Pretty much, they took care of him in the business. His wife divorced him because of infidelity, whatever. I mean, you fucking...
Yeah, man. So basically, fucking right before that, though, he fucking, before the divorce, he shows up at the Baltimore arena and he walks in front of the fans. And then from there, he just works his strength back, and then he moves into commentary, and he has commentary with Tony Schiavone. You just imagine, like, he's all like, "Oh, what's up, Magnum? Yeah, how great are fucking Adam Cole and Britt Baker?"
Oh man, it's crazy too. Like,
about Britt Baker.
It's crazy. None of these, like, if I was AEW, man, I'd have tried to bring Magnum in at some point or something. I don't fucking know, man. I'm a mark for that. Like, bring the legends in. You know, like, he didn't do shit for WWE.
No, they don't care about legends.
Whatever.
They don't care about legends, bro.
They care about Owen Hart, bro.
No.
Sting versus Jericho. We're getting Sting versus Jericho, bro. Come on now.
So anyways, man, fucking basically his wife like you said, left him during this transition of him on commentary. But it was due to all the infidelity. Like the bitch finally got sick of it. You know what I'm saying? And amen, sister. You know what I'm saying? Dude, that's what she nursed this guy back to health. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure,
Jesus.
man. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
man. It's like
mean,
how we were talking about fucking Laurinaitis cheated on his cancer-ridden fucking
yeah,
fellow
yeah, that's
mother.
that's kind
Yeah,
of
man.
that's
It's just
true. That
so
is true.
rank, bro. It's
I
the
guess if
same
we do the
shit, bro.
double standard,
So
yeah.
yeah, Doug. But yeah, man. So basically, fucking he leaves wrestling, and like you were saying, man, he finds life outside of wrestling. You know,
Yeah, and he
um,
got super
and
successful
that
outside of wrestling, man. He's made tons of money.
yeah, man. And during his divorce with his whole wife, he found a new wife and a new love. You know, and they're like, this wasn't it, man. You know, maybe the car crash was meant to happen. You know,
That's what I
I
mean.
don't know, but
Yeah, exactly.
boom,
And
yeah, that's the Magnum TA's fucking story, bro. You know,
yeah,
fucking
man. And what
I
he
get
did say is that he said he took the same work ethic and the same mentality he approached wrestling
yes,
with, and he just
yes,
applied it
yes,
to something else. And it just goes to show you guys,
right,
like
and
you
who's
can literally have everything in the world taken away from you, but if you apply yourself, you find something you're passionate about, you work hard at it, you take time to hone your skill, hone your craft, and you really put your all into something. I mean, he got successful again that
yeah,
day.
preach,
And this was the lesson.
right,
This was the Dusty Rhodes lesson
right,
right here. Hard times make hard men, daddy. And you can't reach the
right,
top if you don't
exactly.
hit if you don't know what rock bottom looks like. And he hit rock bottom again, and he overcame again. And this is a very usually when I leave Dark Side of the Ring, I leave thinking about life and death and what am I gonna
Yeah, it
do
feels
like
gross.
when I'm on my
My stomach
deathbed
hurts.
and goddamn like oh man, some of these people that I just loved and adored, and you see this other side of them, and you're like, this one left me like happy, motivated, like fuck yeah, at least he's still here. He's still here to
I,
tell the story.
I
And it's
felt
sad
bad for
what
his
we
wife.
didn't get to see, but like, you know, what's the worst thing he did? Oh, he cheated on his wife. Like, okay, it's not the most egregious
That
thing we've
sucks,
seen
though,
on
man.
Right, but bro, out of all the things on Dark
He
Side,
was pretty distraught, though.
sure,
Yeah,
sure,
yeah,
sure,
yeah,
sure,
yeah, for
sure,
sure.
sure,
It
sure.
wasn't
But of
right. It
all the
wasn't
things we've
right.
seen
It
on
wasn't.
Dark Side,
Yeah, yeah.
he's not
Right. It
Chris
wasn't child
Benoit. You
murder.
know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. It wasn't. It wasn't child murder or asking a fucking someone that works for that fucking the airplane service to
like
jerk you
Bruiser
off.
Brody episode scarred me for
Yeah,
life.
yeah, 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 yeah.
This
Right.
episode,
Yeah, yeah. Or fucking Jimmy Snuka fucking fighting officers' dogs. You know
or
what I'm
like
saying?
The British Bulldog episode, man. Like the Dave,
Yeah. Oh my, dude,
the
that was a rough one,
dude,
bro.
that was
That one
tough, man.
fucked me
Because I
up, bro.
idolize that
That
guy,
was
and look at all the
fucking
wrestlers who
fucked.
idolize that guy. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah. Chris Benoit, bro.
yeah, dude. And that one there, like I've met Chris Benoit, shook the man's hand and stuff, you know, and just I know lots of people have, but as a Canadian
Yeah,
who he's you know god damn, it's like that one was like fucked, really fucked for me, dude. Him and Eddie were my two all-timers. Like they're my two favorite wrestlers, like maybe almost ever, you know, if I had to stack it up, it's Eddie and Benoit, I feel like. So
I know. Like, if we were to do a top five matches, I think that match between fucking like remember that triple threat at WrestleMania
of
with
course, like the
Benoit
back
and
of my
Triple
hand,
H.
WrestleMania 20 was
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. Okay,
to
we're
me WrestleMania 20
yeah,
is the second or third greatest WrestleMania of all time, in my opinion.
yeah. Fuck yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. The Cena versus Big Show. Yeah, hell
Yeah, I think it's like
no,
17,
for sure,
18,
man.
19, 20. Those four are like my four
Yeah,
almost all timers to me, just for my era, where I was at as in my life, my wrestling fandom, you know. But yeah, guys, that was Dark Side and the Graham family episode, which will be juicy. I think it's already out at the time of our recording, but we'll be talking about it on maybe not the next show, but the show after, or something like that.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
coming up. We've been giving you guys a bunch of time, dude. This is a long fucking that clip for fucking Dark Side. This will be like 30 minutes, dog.
yeah, man, it was a good episode, and
Yeah,
we love Magnum. We got
yeah,
to show them that love. So, yeah,
yeah,
guys, that was
yeah,
Dark
yeah.
Side.